What's up, my dude? Ski TKO Smokey. I appreciate that membership, big dog. I know it was like a decade and a half ago when you actually became a member, but here's your shout out. And I also just want to let all of you past and present and future members know that I'm going to be getting back into all that membership stuff. Just had a hectic real life situation going on. We will be getting back into all that. I really appreciate all you guys that have stuck with me and, stayed members through all this. It means a lot, man. I'm going to be putting everything into the membership side of stuff whenever I actually get cable internet where I'm at. So just letting you guys know, I've done everything I can do right now, like as far as on my end. I'm literally just waiting on them to get back to me. So I've done everything I can do right now, okay? There's literally nothing else I can actually, physically do to get cable internet right this second. So it's kind of just a waiting game, but we will be getting it within, a month or two, right? That's kind of what I'm predicting right now. A month or two. I'm still able to upload videos, right? But I can't really get on there and play multiplayer games and certain things like that with my current situation. But either way, we got Paleta Raceway, Paleta, Tomato. I don't even know how you say it, but we got Paleta Raceway 2020 here, right? It's pretty legendary track series in MX bikes, right? You had a Paleta number 1, Paleta number 2. Is it Paleta? I don't know what it is. I think it's like a real life track replica. It's almost kind of reminds me of like some California style, Polo Raceway style, just with the dirt vibe color and stuff like that. But yeah, so this is the newest version of it. This is the Paleta Raceway 2020 here. So, I did actually do a couple of live streams on this track as well, but I don't remember actually ever coming in here and doing a full track review video on it, and it's definitely worthy of that for sure. So, and I also want to start doing like breaking down my track reviews into different, sections by like fun factor and, all these other little different things I can rate the track on. You guys know I was going to start doing that, so we're going to try to do that here in this video. But, yeah, and I just want to say thanks to everybody sticking with me through the 2-month no uploads and all that shit. It means a lot. There's a lot of you real fans out there. I appreciate the shit out of it, man. That's a big reason why I even still do this shit. After all these years, the fans, it's kind of like, racing motocross in real life or supercross or whatever. When you don't have the fans, it's a whole different animal. It's the same way with YouTube. Like if you didn't have any fans, it'd be a whole different animal, right? So you guys that continue to watch me and subscribe and all that, you keep this shit going, man. I'm telling you, I appreciate the heck out of it. But anyways, let's try to actually stay on track here and get to this track review, okay? So this track's got one big daddy ass triple on it. You better be on the beans, man. You can't be lollygagging coming off of that little double right before it. You got to be on it, bro. I'm actually on the KTM 350 here. Man, I've not even had enough time to download the new OEM bikes or anything, bro. Holy crap, I've had some busy shit going on. But so we're still on the old school OEM bikes here. But I don't know how much more power the newer ones have or whatnot, but I know this 350 slaps on MX bikes. There's no doubt about it. Definitely when you keep it in a lower gear. I've got such a habit of shifting a lot. I think I developed that from MX Simulator, and for whatever reason, when you shift a lot, it seems to fit the 350 a lot better here on MX bikes. So, but yeah, this track's, yes, it is a little more down that 1-to-1 scaling road, which is like how a ton of MX bikes tracks are. This whole entire game just seems to, for whatever reason, have a lot more of that 1-to-1 scaling vibe to it. And it's okay and all because the the way the game plays kind of fits that a little bit, but I also do love to see those tracks like the Hill Valley MX, Hills Have Eyes, Hill Valley, whatever the heck that awesome track is that I reviewed not too long ago. It's a little bit bigger scaling, a little more closer to that like 1.3 to 1 scaling or 1.4 to 1 scaling. Kind of gives you a little more room to really carry speed around the corners and things like that. You will find yourself on this track definitely having to slow down, and you kind of have to like slide and bank into the corner and then get on the gas versus just kind of hauling ass all the way around the corner. Some of them you can a little bit, but it certainly is more down that, 1-to-1 scaling, hyper-realistic track width and stuff like that. But there still is jump fun factor, thank God. There still is roughness fun factor and skill gap and jump fun factor and skill gap. So even though it is more that 1-to-1 scaling, tighter, more narrow style track design, I think it's just more 1-to-1 scaling like in the corners and the width of the track. I feel like he kind of... oh, by the way, I don't even know if I said this is made by TFC, the Fat Controller, right? So, yeah, just letting you guys know that. He's made a ton of cool tracks for this game. So, but yeah, it's like, a lot of these jumps, you got to be on the gas on MX bikes. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it. Even though some of these jumps may look a little smaller, like... You're not going to find yourself really over jumping anything on this track. I mean, you can jump way down some of these hills, but there's still a landing there, even if you hit it wide ass open, right? And even the finish line jump on this track, you can hit wide ass open fourth gear and do like a, 100-foot jump off the finish line and flat land it and still land it. So there's not a whole lot of places where if you over jump, you're going to crash and die. It's going to get a lot more risky, some of these places, when you start really hitting it hard and over jumping. But, you can still do that without crashing, right? So, but one really cool thing about this track that I hadn't really noticed on much of any other MX Bikes tracks is, if you notice off in the distance on over there by the road area, they actually have movable, animated objects. So, like, literally cars are moving on the road, like cars and buses, just appear on the road and drive all the way down the road, and then they disappear. So that's really badass. And then you got these, these wind turbines over here. Those things also are animated, spinning, which is like a whole nother level. And then you got this cool ass thing out in the skybox where you've got like, kind of looks like the, the jets are flying through the sky. That looks so badass. I've never seen anything like that sort of animated object, animated thing in the skybox, anything like that on MX Simulator. I don't even know how possible that really is. I mean, I've made a ton of tracks on MX Simulator with, rain falling sequence effects, and my trippy SX track with the, the crazy ass smiley face that like blinks all different crazy trippy colors on it. You can do a couple things like that, but as far as actually making a moving vehicle on a MX Simulator track, or like, the jet stream flying through the sky, I just don't know. I don't know how possible, that like animated object shit really is on MX Simulator. I think that's where it starts to kind of reach its limitations with the track making. So it's really cool to see all those extra touches and features that makes this whole track feel like it's like a next level, simulator kind of track. Definitely adds to the whole thing. And of course, this track makes you feel like you really are somewhere. Pretty sure these are replica tracks. I'm not 100% sure, but the way the TFC designed these tracks really put you in the, pretty much all these Paleta Raceway tracks, they put you in a vibe like you're really on a real life track. So a lot of off-track object, immersion and on-track immersion, and just kind of the way they're built all the way around. Plenty of objects and things and little buildings and little structures like you'd have on a local vibe track. Fences, power lines, all these little things bring that overall feeling together. It's a nice little mixture of like simple but complicated off track. It's a very, very simple in a lot of areas, but also there's enough to it where it's like that perfect amount of objects, in my opinion. It doesn't like over clutter the off track, but it's enough to keep you in the immersion of it. So there are some inside ruts on this track for sure. You will start kind of finding yourself taking somewhat of the same rut in some of the corners. If you had a lot of people on this track, you could definitely deform one of the ruts to the point where it may be slower than some of the other ruts. You'd have to have quite a few people though. I mean, even when I hit the same exact rut line like 20 laps in a row, just myself on the track, it's not really got it to the point where you can hit it. It's going to be a little more sketchy, but not like that, But there are some ruts where you kind of like, I wonder how much I can kind of try to, sweep this corner a little tighter versus going all the way around the berm. So there's a couple places where you can kind of start cutting the corners a little tighter and cutting some time off, which is cool. Kind of creates a multi-line option feeling to it. Definitely got pre-made braking bumps all over this track. I wouldn't say it's like a super rough track, but it's enough to keep you on your toes, going into these corners and stuff. You can't just like blindly totally haul ass everywhere and not even think about the roughness. I mean, it definitely enters your mind when you're riding on this track. There's no doubt about it. It definitely makes you think a little bit for sure. But yeah, that whole area where you go under the bridge section's like a metal bridge. It's got Paleta Raceway on it. That's a really cool aspect to the track. And yeah, overall, I'm going to give this thing, shit, man. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen the scaling kind of expanded a little bit and stuff like that. I just want to see more tracks like that on MX bikes in general, kind of expanding that scaling to more of that like 1.3 to 1, 1.5 to 1 versus just that 1-to-1 scaling track design. I really want to see some of these MX bikes tracks kind of expand into that. But overall, I'm going to give this track like a 9 overall. This thing's solid as shit. Pretty awesome track, and including all the other 3D animated objects and stuff, it really takes it to another level. I do think this area actually has a Supercross track on it as well, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what I'm seeing over there? I think it might actually have a little side Supercross track on it. But plenty of skill gap on this track right here for sure. A lot of places to gain and lose time. Yeah, that is a little training Supercross track over there. That's pretty cool. I think I might have actually wrote on that in the live stream at some point. I kind of forgot about it here now that I'm on the track review of the motocross track. But, yeah, plenty of skill gap, man. You got to be on your toes in these corners. There's a lot of places to gain time and lose time. Like I say, you're not going to be able to hit the huge triple after the going under the bridge unless you are wide ass open on a 350 or a 450 and you're pretty much like perfectly landing. It's big enough to where you gotta land right, man. You can't be messing around, right? So, but yeah, some of these corners got like 3 pre-made ruts in them. Some of them have more like 2. So there is some corner rut variation. I would say fun factor on this track, you're probably looking at like a somewhere in the neighborhood of like a 8 out of 10 or something, 7 out of 10. It's got quite a bit of fun factor. Not like maybe the funnest track I've ever rode on, but it's got some fun factor to it. Difficulty, you're probably looking at medium on it, medium to hard difficulty. And yeah, uniqueness, I guess that's kind of a thing I could rate here. It's not like the most unique thing I've ever seen. It's just because it is kind of trying to be more of that replica design, but it is unique in the sense of the animated, 3D objects. I'd never really seen that on any other track. So as far as the overall uniqueness, I don't even know where I'd put that. Somewhere in the neighborhood of like a 7 or an 8, something like that. It's not like oh my god, it's so unique, but at the same time there are some elements to the track that are pretty unique. So what other little thing could I'm trying to think. You got fun factor, skill gap, uniqueness. Let's see. I don't know. You guys help me out in the comments. Give me some ideas for some more little like subcategories to, kind of rate on these track reviews. I would love to see some of your guys' ideas on that. You know, yeah, there are some of the jumps that are a little smaller, but like there are also some other jumps that you can hit them as hard as you want to. So, you know, you can't really complain too much about that because there is 2 or 3 jumps that you got to be hossing on. So if you really want to hit it like, you know, at that pro level. But yeah, man, either way, hope you guys enjoy this track review. We're going to be playing some more MX Bikes, more MX Bikes videos. So yeah, dog, we'll be back on that next one, brother. Later, dude.